welcome in. I didn't see your name, but welcome in. All right, folks, welcome to your briefing. My name is Scott. That's me pointing at you from the top left-hand corner. Benjamin Barreras, welcome in. Joining us a little late here. Our intentions with these briefings that we've been running for 6 years now, 5 times a week, is to introduce ourselves, explain what we're doing, share the vision of what's been created and continues to expand around the country, and the reason we're all getting together on this thing. We already know how good it is for us. You're coming here to see if this is going to resonate for you, okay? And we won't take very much time. We allow you to open up a laptop at your home office or get on your cell phone to do it, so real easy. Okay, the process you just began to qualify candidates in or out of our systems or our group. This webinar is only 15 minutes. It'll give you a brief overview, a high-level 30,000-foot view of what we're doing. If for some reason that resonates with you, you'll make it to our national intro meeting, which is way more detailed. Some folks doing intro meetings will do it for an hour. Some folks like me do it for 2 hours just so we can get all that information to you. After that national intro meeting, you'll make it to the follow-up Q&A where you get to ask all the questions that you've developed in these first 2 exposures. Okay? 2 types of people on the line with us tonight. Most of the individuals that are joining us here this evening are actually looking to get into real estate investing and do real estate. Or maybe they're in real estate already and they're looking for a good group that they can trust to perpetuate what they're currently doing. So real estate investing is the theme. However, there are a few folks on the line with us tonight that are just looking for work. We have infrastructure that needs to be powered by folks helping us out around the country on a daily basis. People are getting paid weekly for that. We'll show you those kind of checks at the end of this, what you can expect. Okay, so the 2 types of people interested in real estate investing, some folks looking for work. That's who's on the line with us. Okay, my name is Scott. I found this group the same way that you found the group. I was I'd lost a job. My wife lost a job with the same company. That's where we met. We made pretty good money. I made $212,000. She made $50,000. When we lost a job, we lost our place to live, lost a place in South Beach. We lost cars. It was crazy, but lost a lot of dignity, and nobody was picking up my resume for that kind of money. So I went looking for new opportunities at a luncheon. I started going to these luncheons, these BNI groups. I met a real estate investor at a luncheon who had 92 properties paying him rent. He was worth 2.5 mil. He was cash flowing 24 grand a month, and who wouldn't be envious? So I was very interested in what he had done and how he had done it. So that got me interested in real estate investing. So my wife and I, through our research, we found the #1 rated real estate investing education company in the country that had based their education not on 3-day boot camps like a lot of those companies out there, but they really did base it on curriculums. And we thought after our research it was most thorough, it had the best rating of everybody. So we started taking classes. In our 3rd month, we started putting houses under contract. We did 5 wholesale deals for $31,607 by month number 6. Did our first fix and flip right after that in Streamwood, Illinois for $93,000 in profit. And then we did our first buy and hold property in Aurora, Illinois. We fast forward to today. This is one portfolio. We have 90 single family homes, a 3-unit building, and some land that we got in a note acquisition from the bank. So we're $4.4 million, cash flowing $500,000 a year, and this is 10 years later, so it's not like dropped out of the sky overnight. This is what's possible for the folks that are on the line here coming to it like I did. Right? We also are into multifamilies. We're partnered up on a 22-unit building, but we have 2 6-unit buildings that we control outright. Okay, that's us. Now about you and what we're doing here together. All right, so you see this slide right here. This picture right here in the top in this collage, that's our office in Chicago, and we are duplicating that around the country. That office has existed since August of 2007, pre-crash. It's 200 people in front of my wife there in a workshop. We have 3 other training rooms in that building, plus 11 executive offices in that building. And this building has kicked out real estate after investor after real estate investor. Over 1,000 people have done their first real estate deal. We've got people that have taken their game to the next level. So it's worked out really well. And we thought to ourselves, why don't we open up more of these around the country? So we started putting ads around the country to find talent like you guys that we could introduce this to. And then afterwards you say, okay, I'm in or out. And then we started building offices around that talent, them starting to work from home, and then eventually having enough going on that we have 26 buildings around the country today and growing. We also have 60 communities that don't have buildings yet, just doing deals from their homes. Okay, now the most important part of this webinar is about to happen for you. This is my explanation of what's going on, and evidently somebody didn't erase what they did earlier. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. Hang on a minute, guys. So what you're about to see is just a diagramming. If you were at my office today, we'd be drawing this on a desk, but we're going to do it digitally and save some trees tonight, so get excited. Okay, so real estate investing. I wanted to be a real estate investor after meeting that individual at the luncheon, but it's very risky. You know, you shouldn't do anything that has risk unless you know what you're doing. So don't throw your kids in the deep end of the pool. Don't fly a plane. Don't cut into a body unless you got lots of degrees. And all of that comes from an education first. And this is my wife and I. So our existence before this education, we had lost our own retail residence. That's what we knew about real estate, losing our own house. So we knew that we had to learn how to do these strategies. We started making money on wholesaling while we're taking fix and flip classes from that education I showed you. Started making money on fix and flips while we're taking buy and hold classes. Started making money on buy and hold while we're taking lending classes. And ironically, within 2 years of losing our own retail residence, we were actually able to create notes on properties as the bank. So we were essentially the bank on properties for tenants that we had in our properties. That is a testament to the education I showed you, application of the education I showed you, and probably the most important thing that we got from this group was the support. You know, they were never more than a phone call or a text away for us. They were meeting us webinars every single morning. We had an office to go to every single week and workshops every month. The monetary, so when we needed money for a deal, it was available. We needed professional help, it was there. So pretty amazing support from the group that is sponsoring this webinar. Now, the other component here, so that's the real estate conversation. The other component here is the work conversation. If you, for some reason, are here looking for work, we do have a licensing agreement with the education company. They pay us 50% of gross tuitions to help enroll students and then support them. They also pay us a 15% override for expanding around the country. So we are constantly looking for more staff to help us out with that. Okay, so the two components to consider being here on this webinar. One, are you looking to get checks starting next week, helping us with the infrastructure, helping us create a student, okay, and support it? We then, once we create the student, we move the student through the education systems and the support systems to the point where they're actually controlling real estate. And when that happens, we all make even more money. So the national group that is putting on this webinar tonight is expanding around the country. They've used this webinar system to do that. Again, 26 buildings around the country, 60 plus communities on top of those buildings, and it's just growing. All right, second slide. Okay, that one's clean. Okay, so let's talk about the expansion. So we're constantly looking for two types of individuals. We are looking for students, which are the most important thing in order to do more real estate. But we also need staff to support those students. So this is the two type of people. So the staff actually acts as a recruiting workforce, helping us enroll freshman level folks. Those freshman level folks within 3 to 6 months of actual class time will be controlling real estate deals. And in my case, I was in 3 months. So my third month, I had my first house under contract. I moved it with my sweat equity because I had no money. I moved it to the senior level investors in the group. And that brings up the most important box of the whole presentation here. We are continually looking for real estate. So the most important thing is that we have more and more and more real estate coming our way. The nice thing about the rookies is they're bringing it to us, and then everybody's making money. Eventually, I became well-rounded, which means I did my first flip, got my first buy and hold property, did my first note. And the cool thing about this group is they just instilled confidence. They're like, listen, this isn't something we're speculating could happen. We're telling you that it will happen as long as you keep on the path. And I said, that's easy. Wanted to do it since I met that guy. All right, so one more slide. We'll finish this thing up for you guys. Okay, so why are you guys here today? Are you here today because you're looking for work? Or are you here today because you want to replace work with real estate investing? Okay, so when I got here to this very meeting that you're seeing, I actually was looking to get into the real estate investing, but when I heard the fact that they had work available, it was a blessing for me. I didn't have a job, my wife didn't have a job, so the fact that they had work available and we could get paid the next day, or I'm sorry, the next week, meant that we could actually immerse ourselves in the group that was going to help us do real estate investing. Does that make sense? So I have a tremendous sales background. These guys paid me $159,000 to actually design and maintain ad campaigns. So I was doing marketing campaigns. Then when somebody answered those marketing campaigns, we do have appointment setters who are making $50,000 to $100,000 a year appointment setting into public speakers. And this happened to be my wife, who made over 6 figures her first year. Then the public speakers are doing their job, like I am right now. Some of those public speakers are making $250,000 a year. I'll show you my numbers just to back that up. Then customer service answers questions. We have managers managing teams and buildings all over the country. But the workforce that we have really does have one job and one job only. Get us more students. That's the only job I have here doing this webinar tonight. The more freshman level folks that we have who are testing out of wholesaling, testing out of fix and flip, and testing out of buy and hold actually become assets to our group. Now, the difference between an asset and a liability when it comes to a human is assets speed things up and help us make money. Liabilities slow things down and cost us money. So we're looking to add more assets to our group. Those assets will be the rookies that we work with. The seniors will work with them. They'll work with the rooks. Everybody, though, makes money on the stuff that's flying around. It's awesome. So that idea that I just laid out in 3 slides is expanding around the country. You are experiencing the expansion by merely being on this webinar. We have over 3,000 people that are doing real estate with us around the country because of this webinar. And when I say around the country, I even mean Hawaii and Alaska because of this webinar. Okay, to give you a sense of what's possible, if you're here for the real estate conversation, let me introduce you to Scott. When I met Scotty, he was a union carpenter, an out-of-work union carpenter. When he came down, we told him, look, put your tool belt back on and pay yourself to do your own work and your own fix and flips on a weekly basis. So he was actually taking a lunch to work every single day. The money for this real estate deal, his first one, came from the group because he was broke. So he paid himself $22,000 from this money every single week, took home checks to his wife for 4 months. And then at closing, he got an extra $133,000 in profit on that deal. That was his first real estate deal. This guy has 32 rental properties today, and most of that is dedicated to homeless veterans. So he's doing some really, really good voucher work for some folks that help protect our freedoms here in Illinois. Okay, and abroad. All right, let's cover the second point. If you're not here for real estate investing, but you're here for work, let me talk about Justin here. I met Justin when he was a 24-year-old band teacher. This kid was only making $34,000 a year as a band teacher, gross. The reason he was looking for summer work was because his wife was making zero as an English teacher. So working with us through the summer and then the school year part-time, this kid made $122,000 on staff, helping us enroll and support students. That allowed him to quit teaching band and then start working on real estate with us. And today, this kid's got 112 rental properties. He is just over 30 years old. He's one of my top senior level investors in my building, so age has no bearing here. Okay, finally, if you are looking for work, just like Justin was, we are looking for individuals who can design and maintain ad campaigns like I was, handle communications, assist in live events, handle customer service. Public speaking is at a premium right now as we open up new situations around the country. Full-time and part-time available. Why part-time? Well, when you got a band teacher making checks like this right here, helping us on staff, right? So these are checks that he gets while he was teaching band, not doing real estate. That allowed him to quit teaching band and do real estate. So in your first fix and flip gets you $108,000, and that's three years worth of band teaching pay you get in just 6 months. You realize you found a pretty good home. All right, I promise to show you my numbers. This is me, Scott. If we go down here, these guys have paid me $2.2 million in the last 6 years for doing what I'm doing. So if you're not getting $250,000 a year for maybe having the people skills you have, I have sales training, sales management. If you've done restaurant work, if you've done retail management, executive management, doesn't matter. Anything that deals with people and helping people become better or be better is awesome here. Okay, we've opened up a lot of buildings because of this webinar. So keep in mind, all these individuals that are running these situations for us around the country all came to a webinar like you. So the people from Arizona, Utah, New York, California did not travel into Chicago to hang out with me over a desk. What they did do was hop on one of these webinars from home. They just like you are. They loved what they saw, came to the intro meeting, continued to love what they saw, came to the fall, got all their questions answered to get very clear, started working with us the week after, usually for the 6 figures. Then eventually we have enough going on in that city we can wrap a building around it. So that's how we have grown. All right, folks, that's it. That's the 15-minute briefing. The next step in the process is the national intro meeting. So what you want to do, and then we'll have a follow-up afterwards, but here's how you're going to let us know what you want to do after this. Simply, when I end this meeting, this page, webinarfollowup.com, should show up. I want you to write that down, though, webinarfollowup.com. It is the only reason you have a pen in your hand, webinarfollowup.com. When I end this meeting, this page should pop up on your screen. If it doesn't, depending on your browser, then you'll simply go to webinarfollowup.com, even on your phones, and then you can fill in what you want to do with us next, and we can help you out. Our team will assist you in making reminders of the meetings you have. And listen, I just want to end this by saying this isn't right for everybody. And one of the reasons we do have a candidate process to squeeze people out is because we want to make sure that we're working with the right people, not the wrong people. We're going to be putting a lot of time, effort, and money into individuals, training them up. So if for some reason this isn't for you, there's no wrong or right. Thanks for joining us here. If for some reason you are interested in either working with us for checks next week, or you'd like to really do real estate with the right group, then this may be something you want to stick with to get to that Q&A. All right, folks, stay tuned for the page. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll be able to help you. If not, I wish you luck. Thanks, guys.